What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So, yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice, the number 4, Just Us. That's JUSTICE, the number 4, JUST underscore US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first. Black first, and happy Friday, everybody. I'm Eve, and tonight, Friday, July 26th, I thought we could sip some tea. And, while I try to keep my Fridays reserved for protecting the minis from predators, I find that inside of that conversation, there is some tea, right? And what do I mean by that? Obviously, most of you guys know what I'm talking about, so I'm not necessarily trying to be the spook who sat by the door and explain everything, as much as I do want you guys to know how it's related to protecting the minis. And well, I guess first things first, if you've got, tea in your cabinet, are you prepared to share that with your children? Because it's something that they can ingest, something that they can use for their benefit? Or do you have like that caffeinated stuff, the thing that might help you but wouldn't necessarily help you? We have to think about what it is that we're taking in, and then if it's applicable, can we apply it? Or is it something that we should be moderating or monitoring our usage of? From caffeine to sugar to a lot of our favorite junk food staples, we might not be having the same thoughts about how it's affecting us and the people around us. So, the tea tonight, well, I hope it's going to be good for you. I hope it is nurturing. I hope that you get something out of it, because when we have these conversations, I learned so much. I learned that you guys have so much to offer, and your thoughts and insights in these conversations are very much appreciated. And well, with that in mind, I have a guest tonight, and thought maybe we could sip some tea together. Are you there, Taisha? Peace, sis. Welcome back.
Happy Friday, Sister Eve, and greetings to the family. Thank you so much for having me here. B1, Black first.
P1, Black first. Brilliance first. I've learned that Black is brilliant. They've taken the words and they've given new definitions to these words and terms, and then everybody has these negative thoughts about Black, and Black is brilliant, right? It's how
Yeah,
you're able to see the light, because of how magnificent the darkness is. Inside of
absolutely.
that, you are brilliances. And I thought we could start the conversation off. I know you probably got to go in a little while, but at least start the conversation off. Oh, let's do you mind? We can get on camera for this.
If you want to, I'm cool. Give everybody a gift.
Can you ask Daria for it? Because she has it upstairs already. I gave it to her. You can't find it. You got to ask Daria for it.
Yes, you just bless everybody with the radiant beauty that you are. Sun-kissed Eve.
Okay, I'll give it to you in a second, okay? You can put it right here. Thank you. No, give it to me. Okay, anyway, Black first, and welcome back. So, tonight, tea. Uh, what do I want to say about tea? Well, I guess I want to start with, is it our fault? Black America gets this, the heavy burden of picking up the slack, right? For everybody's trash or their negative behaviors, the uh, debaucherous things that they do. And, if they look like us, even though they're not like us, they will just give the negative thing a Black label. And
Mm-hmm.
then Black Americans get tossed into the wind or thrown under the bus, whichever way you want it to go. And I find that, well, if we have the responsibility of picking up everyone's trash, then can't we throw it away? Like, put it somewhere else. And inside of that, um, the former president was shot at, right? And then inside of that, Black people are getting blamed. And I wonder, do you want to start the conversation off with Black people getting blamed for something that had nothing to do with us?
Yes, I've heard this over and over this week where this term DEI, it started out DEI from what happened at that rally. And not sure we can say the names. I usually say like DTZ or something like that because I don't know how YouTube wants to do and flag our videos. I had no clue it even happened. I was on a road trip and, I've started hearing about it, way after the fact. But then I came across these channels that the algorithm just kept pumping DEI higher, DEI this, DEI that. And when I listen to the conversations, it's these disgruntled white males who are, saying like, I don't want these females on my team. I don't want females in this workspace. I don't want females in my chain of command and my upper management. And I was like, whoa. And then the conversation then pivots. Hiring Black people and this should make Black people happy. I'm like, when did we get thrown into this? Because the last time I checked, I saw the footage from, the incident at the rally, and I didn't see any Black people on the floor for nothing. So I was a bit befuddled, It was crazy.
It is
So
crazy. And like you guys, I saw I saw a lot of not us in the mix. So, when people start blaming us, at first, here's what happened, right? We see shots rang out, and then everybody,
mhm.
oh, it was a nigga. And it's like, wait, hold up,
What?
pause on the play. Because I have not seen any of these people who are against the former president say that they're going to do anything violent towards him. I've seen them have a lot of words about how bad and mean and just all this stuff, right? But I've never actually seen them talk about doing anything violent. Now, you want to talk about violent? I see them people talk about violence all the time. On both sides of the bird, you got the left talking about violence and you got the right talking about violence. Like,
Exactly.
let's
And the
get
thing
to
of it
the
is, I think that
immediate
like,
blame of Black America.
yes, I think like the only two people that are three people who would go to a DTZ rally is Kanye, Candace, and Herman Cain, but he died. So we got two. I'm like,
That's
where are you
very
pulling
true.
this from? And I am so happy that I am not in these hostile work environments, or I'm no longer, in law enforcement to hear what happened after the fact with all this. Yes, I made a video concerning the fumbling because that's for safety. That's for any of us who, practice or carry out our Second Amendment rights and we, conceal or open carry. Just something to always stay on your mind, like, look, you need to know how to get out of that holster and back in. But this whole thing with like painting Black people, especially Black women, as DEI hires, it's like this term DEI, it's relatively new. I hadn't heard about this acronym until about, I think, like 2022, but it's relatively new. And the only thing that I can say that when the DEI, acronym and the teams on the job came out, that's when like our emails and stuff like that, and when you fill out an application, ask for your pronouns. And as Black people, we've never demanded we want you to acknowledge us by our pronouns because our pronouns is Black first, pay me. So the other stuff is irrelevant. That doesn't apply to us. And just putting out my honest opinion and my observations. And I know that, this may come back up in the future when I decide to, run for school board or something. But if you ask me, as a Black woman who has experienced hostile work environments, I have documented complaints, documented investigations, things like that. The only thing I've noticed with the whole DI thing is that white males were able to come to work with fingernail polish on. That's the only thing that I saw or know who benefited from this whole DEI. And I'll just leave it at that.
That's very true. That's very true. To the chat, welcome. If you're new here, this is our lovely sister Taisha, but you're probably very familiar with her already. She's got her own channel with her own following. And I think that, when we're having these conversations between channels and between people on this side of the mic, I think it's a good time for us to, really pay attention to the differences. Like inside of all of Black media, you've got the 9 areas of people activity, and then inside of those areas, you've got people talking about all sorts of things. And I'm just so happy that you take the time to come chat with me over here on my side of the internet, because I have these thoughts and they make people uncomfortable as fuck. And from there, I just don't know how else to be, Taisha. If we can't all be comfortable, we will all be uncomfortable. And as much as I know y'all hate when I use words that you've heard before, I can't escape the truth around some things. That's what some people like to do, if we're kind of sip tea. Some of y'all like to, skirt around the truth about some things because of other truths. And no, the truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. From there, if things are 2 + 2 is 4, then who am I to say that it's not? Because I got two fingers, I add them up and oh shit, it's not 22. No, and in real time, these uncomfortable conversations, they change things. And I just want to two different things. If you are already a subscriber on my channel, y'all are cool. If you're not, you can hit the bell. If you don't want to, it's fine. I'm not begging or anything, but I am saying that you might get notified when I drop stuff like this, because also you might not be notified when I drop things, because that started to happen too. But if you do hit the bell and you do hit the notifications, you might see when I have a thought like this, because DEI, let's talk about it.
You're a Black woman calling a
What's your name?
trans woman, and I just want you to
What's
think.
your name?
I want you to think about that.
Okay.
Problem number 1. The white man says that the Black woman calling the cops is not the move.
Honey.
It's not honey, bitch. It's not
Oh.
honey.
Okay.
It's not honey, bitch.
We're just gonna
Whoa.
for the cops.
Yes, we are.
This is getting.
You're a hypocrite.
It's
You're
getting
a
a
liberal
little bit
hypocrite.
more
And
aggressive.
you're a bitch. Yeah, I am aggressive. I have PTSD, bitch.
Okay.
You fucked with the wrong tranny today, bitch.
I apologize.
Problems number 2 and 3 present itself in the best and worst ways.
Wow.
No more hair. You a whole man. And why are we faking?
You know what? You'd be better off in the hood, because the hood people, they know how to act.
And lastly, I mean, she'd be better off in the hood because they know how to act.
Wow. That is wild. That is wild.
You want to talk about white men and diversity? There's your DEI right there, fellas and ladies out there in the room listening live or recorded. And we don't get the opportunity to use the fact that we are a diverse people. No, we're told that we need to be one mind, one sound, vote blue no matter who, get your booty to the poll, right? Vax that ass up, right? No, and then if we don't, then we are extremists.
Are not Black.
Not right. We're either a Black identity extremist or not Black at all. How? That math does not math to me. And I guess a third thing is that Black women. Yeah, I didn't clip the whole video. It was like a 2-minute video of this, what I would assume to be a Black woman because of how she sounded, but I do think that they were in New York, and all melanated folk ain't Black American. Ha! You thought I was gonna say something else. No, it was just really strange because she was telling him, I have transsexual friends. So that's why he's all like, you're a hypocrite, a liberal hypocrite. And it's like, wait a minute. Anyway,
why are you labeling me when you want me to use your word of the day, your pronoun of the day, but you want to throw names at me? That's not right. It's very, very hypocritical. And it's like, pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Like I said, I've been listening to what the algorithm has been pumping to me and seeing these chats about DI and just put it on black people. Well, they'll bring in more black people, more blacks, and they don't measure up. That's bullshit, because every environment that we go to, we as Black Americans have been told that we had to be better than, be twice as better than them, play by the rules when the rules get bended, broken, and twisted for non-Black Americans. And then another part that really tripped me out was that, okay, this situation at the DTZ rally involved a firearm, right? An active shooter. So, in the past, when it involved Black people as the victims and things like that, or with Uvalde, let's arm the teachers. Let's arm the teachers. Well, the participants should have been armed, and maybe this wouldn't have happened. It's like they don't know which fight they want to fight. It's a losing battle, and so they just start throwing shit everywhere and darts to blame Black people. We ain't have shit to do with it, you know.
That's real.
It's wild. It's wild. And I appreciate you, Eve, because you give me a chance to get this out of my head, and you're like a life mind. And I'm like, yes, I'm not, this is not outlandish. This is crazy. It's crazy. And it's the stuff that we don't hear in regular conversations. It's all just having you chase your tail, but not stating the obvious.
Absolutely. Black people being the face of the shooter before any information coming out, Black people being responsible for the fact that the white people who were supposed to be protecting this man didn't do their job. And then, well, now Black people, if you vote for Kamami, you will definitely be the reason that a lot of shit is up in flames. And I will say that it's your fault, but is it our fault collectively? No, none of these things are our fault collectively, but some of you will die on a hill that wouldn't even want you there after the sun goes down. So, it's very strange. These sacrifices that we'll make socially because we think that it's giving us inclusion. I'm glad that you brought this up to me because it, with the first woman vice president, I think that might be as much as I'll give her, because she self-identifies as Indian, but then people want to say that she's Black, and then she never corrects them. And from there, now we've got the illusion of inclusion. She hasn't said, I'm not y'all. No, but she hasn't said, I am y'all. It's just this big mystery. And I was talking with Dr. Winters in my Wednesday live, which if you guys don't check it out, you should, Reality Check. And on Wednesday, he made a really good point. When you don't know how someone is, they're very wishy-washy. That's an untrustworthy person. So whether we don't like her or not, they don't trust her either. And inside of that, Black women, sometimes the melanin that the universal Black woman has gives her a little bit of sass. And then those women who can't quell the fire that brews inside of them, they start acting out. And from there, maybe her glitch would be to do something for us. Like I can't escape that thought because damn, that's Dr. Winters. I didn't think about it like that, but now I'm thinking about that, and I'm still not going to vote for her ass. But if she does get in and she does glitch in our benefit, I think that's wonderful. But
one of the things that would benefit us right now, I know we didn't plan to talk about this, but the massacre of Sonia Massey in Illinois. And I see that they're already starting to, bring her and use her as a platform because this is a year of politics, just like back in 2020 with George Floyd. And then a few months ago here in Georgia, the Lake and Riley murder that happened here at, I think it was University of Georgia, where she was attacked while she was running. That the only thing that can come out of this that would be a glimmer of a stride in the right direction is a hate crime bill for Black Americans. And then after that, the reparations. So unless you speak in that language, like I said, I'm Black first, and my other pronoun is pay me. So
That's right.
Uh-uh. I don't want to hear it. Other than that, it's not sure. It's a Camacho not sure 2024.
Hey, I
Those
like
who have seen Idiocracy.
that's real talk because during this election season, we are being courted. And I know a lot of y'all don't know what it is to be courted because you out here making babies with niggas who don't want to spend any time with you. But if you are familiar with being courted, you know that there's some time spent into acting like I like you, even if you don't. So they're
You're
doing
just trying
that
to
right now.
slide through. You just trying to slide through and get it wet.
That's right. They're trying to act like they like us, and this is on both sides of the bird. From the Republicans using Amber Rose. I mean, they called her a rapper for
Wow.
God's sake, and
I
she's
ain't heard that one song with her.
no. I'm saying, and if she is a rapper, chat if you're here, let me know what song she's rapped. I would love to know about it. As I don't know if I want to listen to it, but at least it would be a title that made sense. I don't know what happened to my camera, but it did start glitching. So if I'm frozen on somebody's screen, please disregard the face and don't clip it and make me look crazy on anything. But no, so then you've got the Republicans doing that. You've got the Democrats, they've got the vax that thing, they've got the get your booties to the poll. They literally are parading around this Indian woman as Black. And then, when you think about a lot of the politicized bad things, so right now, Sonia Massey, that Biden's the president right now. A lot of things that happened during Obama's presidency, the president at the time could very much do something if they wanted to, and then they don't. But then when Trump gets into office and got into office, he did a lot of things that people said that presidents can't do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn it, how do we keep getting the shit end of the stick? And it's probably because people are not comfortable having an uncomfortable conversation. So, to the Friday listeners, and anytime you guys listen to me live, I'm happy we're here, because here is where we change things. Here is where we say enough is enough. Here is where you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on some shit, because I promise you, without the evidence, I'm going to ride that train until it goes off the tracks, because, that's really how I feel and what I believe. And if there's evidence to back me up, it's what I know, God damn it. And right now, I know Black America keeps getting the blame for shit that's not our fault at all. To the Black people who want to vote for Trump, because I posted something on Twitter and they were telling me that, I'm talking about the Trump supporters, they were telling me that they hate the Democrats so much that that's what they're doing. It's not that they're getting anything. Remember, that's what the Democrats do. They say, oh, you hate that orange guy so much, but you hate Biden less. Vote for him. So then,
The lesser two evils approach.
Mm-hmm. And I just, I can't do the evil at all. I mean, you guys are acting like if you went to a restaurant and they didn't have the food that you wanted to eat, you would substitute it for something else. And while I get compromise, I get that. I also understand that the price of gas is super high. Shout out to Joe Biden. I understand that the cost of food is super high. Shout out to Joe Biden again. But what I don't understand is if you really had your heart set on a chicken pot pie, and then you went to the restaurant that does the chicken pot pie the way you want it to be done. And pregnant ladies, I know y'all are feeling me right now, because when them pregnant munchies hit, that's what you want. That's what you need. That's what you're going to have. And if you don't, all hell's going to break loose. And no, you guys get to the restaurant. They say, nah, we're out of chicken pot pie. Can I give you something else? And it's not even a chicken option anymore. No, we're all out of chicken. Do you want fish or do you want beef? And it's like, well, damn, I guess I'll have some fish. I wasn't really trying to eat the beef because, it's red meat, whatever. And you guys are substituting your wants for something that you'll just accept. That's across the board. Or is it just me, Saisha? Is that what you're seeing when they keep telling us to just take it. That doesn't matter.
Exactly. It's like you don't have to have a forced, your choice is forced upon you because yes, I was just recently pregnant and I had those cravings. It was either go to the restaurant, ingest that poison, and that poison have an effect on my developing baby and myself, or empower myself and make all of the things that I want to eat myself where I know what's in it. I know what this food is this meal, how this meal will benefit me and nourish my body. So, you have absolute every right to just opt out of it. You don't have to deal with the shenanigans.
Absolutely.
There's no fear factor behind it. And every 4 years this happens, and we are millennials. We have lived through some stuff. We have seen, the towers fall. We have seen that or experienced the housing crisis and the recession of '08, and we've been through all this. But what happens when you look at the big picture of things? The stock market didn't crash. It continues to go up. It reminds me of that game on The Price is Right, where the dude is yodeling up the mountain. That's what things are doing. It's like, stop living by fear. And I think it was, now I don't mean to bring this guy up because he might, I don't know what he's been up to, but there's a song by Ice Cube and Lil Jon called "If You Scared, Go to Church."
Hey,
But
amen.
you ain't even safe there because guess what? I've been to the Black church in the past 4 years, and they now have Biden Harris church fans. They got those in the church now. So it's like you ain't even safe there away from politics. So just stay home and, I don't know, bury your head, do something. But don't let fear be the driving factor. Like don't let that drive you to the poll and guilt trip and all this other stuff.
Absolutely. Man, timing. This year, maybe you guys have heard me say it. Divine timing it's been a constant for me this year. And what you were just talking about, I mean, I literally just got that text message about 2 hours ago about how we cannot live in fear for, what we think is going to happen as much as we can be prepared for what we know. And then from there, I mean, the bad stuff might happen, but at least you've got a plan of action. Before I share the clip that's on the screen that you guys can look at on your own if you check out my channel, because this clip didn't get like any views, so I don't know.
Your shorts are live.
The algo doesn't like me sometimes because sometimes I'm subscribed from millennials, right? But then I don't get the notifications. I hit the bell.
Same thing with Professor Black Truth. I actually have to remember, like I know every day at 8 o'clock, go and look for his video because it does not come up in the feed at all. They'll have everything else. They'll have stuff that I've said do not recommend, not interested, still popping up. Like,
Oh, for
um,
sure.
yeah,
How does
like
that
Tabitha
work?
Brown and Terry Crews. I don't want to watch that,
That is so funny. They said, you don't want to watch it? Let me give you some more. And actually, that leads us right into my little clip right here. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to let you watch it right now. And just to remind you, if you don't want it, I'm going to give you some more.
Okay. You know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
So gender is a social thing. It only
I don't
makes
want to hear
sense.
that. What is a woman? What is a woman?
Come on, sir. Answer the question. What is a woman? Dictionary definition, because why be stuck on stupid?
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society, recognized by other women. If you speak with women,
Oh, it's time for women to speak?
The guy that you had clipped in that short, his name is Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh.
Yes, Matt
Now,
Walsh.
although I don't, subscribe to everything that he says, I did, listen to his podcast, and I'm actually holding in my hand. I'll cut on my camera and show you. I'm actually holding in my hand his book, "What Is a Woman?" Got it upside down. There we go. What is a woman? I actually have that, and I've read it. So I can say I highly recommend it. Check it out. Check it out.
That's funny. No, that's real. Look, we're not going to agree on a lot of things. And I don't just mean like me and you. I mean me and the world, Black America. white
Mhm.
America, whatever. Nobody's going to agree 100% about things because you're going to have a contrarian. You're going to have that person who just wants to be different because it's an attention grabber. They were never told that they were special, or their moms never gave them a hug, or for whatever reason they just want the attention on them. And inside of that, that DEI conversation that you were talking about, this forced things that are getting forced on us and into our mentions. What is the woman? He said, if you ask the women, well, I'm a woman and you're a woman, and
It's
we're not
plain
Ketanji
simple.
Brown Jackson women. So
Mhm. It is simple. The bottom question is, what is a woman? Women are adult human females.
absolutely, that is the
They
be
have
all end
two
of it.
X chromosomes. They can bear children and give birth. I'm reading from page 11 of What is a Woman? Even if you didn't know the science or use the exact right words, you could point a woman out pretty easy. By nature, they look and act differently from men. It's not meant for men to cosplay and impersonate women. It's disrespectful. If you say it's disrespectful to be mislabeled or use a dead name or whatever, it's disrespectful to mock me and mock our contributions to this world. That's terrible. So it's like it's so one-sided, and I absolutely do not agree with where this is going and what this has done and how this has been allowed to go on.
Me either. And the women, we have to. This is if there's going to be things that are our fault, and when I say our, I'm talking about that blanket collective statement, our. They like to blanket statement negative shit on Black people, the hood, ratchet, ghetto. Those are all terms
That's
that
another
have
topic.
been.
That's another topic. I don't know if you talked about, the BET awards and stuff like that, but that's been a big thing over the past couple weeks as well, is having the lowest hanging fruit of, our ethnic group represent us as a whole. That's so messed up. And those are caricatures created by the white mainstream media.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, if you're around on Monday, you might want to join me and Marie. We can definitely, I think, have that conversation as millennials, because we've seen how BET has changed. The
Mhm.
people older than us have also seen how it's changed, and a lot of them are them old niggas the broke authority told y'all not to trust. But then he also didn't tell you that he was also one of them old niggas. So
Oh.
we gotta be careful about some of these things, because the message and the messenger might not align. That's why you guys can have such disdain for a Black rapper who doesn't really give a shit about Black people, but could rap about Black people. Black people get mad at Ice Cube because he was so pro Black back in the, he's so pro Black. And then he goes and marries his wife, and then he has these thoughts now. And it's like, did he have these thoughts back then? And he was just a good rapper. He was a good character. He was a good pawn in the Matrix, or
And now he's selling car shield scams to people. I'm not saying he's selling it, but he's the face of the car scams, him
right.
and Vivica's.
Right. So, when we're talking about these blanket statements, I want us to be, at least here on my channel, I want us to be super clear when we're going to put on a blanket, because of the reason why. Black
Mhm.
women, I believe, championed and campaigned a lot of the fuckery inside of the alphabet community, because they thought, and yes, I'm blanket statementing right now, Black women thought that, having a little faggot best friend was cute. And then in real time, they've found out that if they still have one of those and they don't have a man, it might be related, but they don't want to have that conversation.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Mm, 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 mm. Not even that. In our diversity and inclusion conversation,
Mhm.
you identifying as other than Black because of your sexuality, you might get the job over me, a Black woman who identifies as a Black woman, and it's all because you're a dude who doesn't want to be Black anymore, or you want to be Black. And yeah, I don't know if there's a black and as much as there's a black. And no, we're not a monolith as a people. We need to have some pillars of understanding for sure, some traditions that don't go anywhere. But are we all the same? No. And that's what we started the conversation with, right? Like, we're not going to all agree about things, but there should be some things. And this, she, hers, he, his, black women, I'ma say that them other people have always been doing that shit. We weren't, not like that. And then when we champion and campaign for our best friend who don't like men's no more, but still does, it kind of puts us even further behind. And then you have a lot of women, black women, squawking about how bad things are. And it's like, wait a minute, your best friend is gay, a gay male, a gay girl, whatever it is. The entire conversation about, oh, let's put it this way. Let me simplify it for you guys and for myself, because I was going all over the place. You were in the military for how long?
5 years.
When you were in the military, this is like after Don't Ask, Don't Tell, right?
I was in, yes, it wasn't taken back until Obama came into office, and I was out of the military by then.
Okay, so then Don't Ask, Don't Tell is this whole premise of, I won't ask you about your shit, and then you won't tell me about your shit. Am I right or am I wrong?
Mhm.
I'm right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now inside of there, people who have identity issues, they want to be able to put their spouse picture on the desk. They want to hold hands in public, and they want to be able to do things that are related to our emotions and how we feel. Am I right or am I wrong? Because there's a reason that I got to ask you these questions before I get to my point.
And yeah, you can ask, but I'm not really the expert on that. When I was in, that was just something that I didn't pay attention to nor delve into because it didn't apply to me.
But you were in the military after it was repealed. So now people can just be themselves.
No, I wasn't in. I got out. It was repealed when Obama had came into
Okay.
office, and I
Gotcha.
was out by then.
Well, that's even better because I wanted to talk
Mhm.
about the before. Before it was repealed, nobody's saying that there weren't gay people out here, right? No, but it was do you feel like as a heteronormative black woman, goodness, that it was a hostile environment for someone who might not identify as you? Or did you know who was gay and then they didn't mess with you and you didn't mess with them, and everybody just kind of does what they're doing, live your life?
Yeah, we knew who they were, and nobody bothered them. They did not try to, wear it on their sleeve. It was just something that we knew that was unique to this individual. But at the end of the day, we had a job to do, and most of us were just worried about going home, so it wasn't an issue.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because inside of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it allows people to be in your face with different things, even though Don't Ask, Don't Tell is more not that you can't be yourself. It's more, I'm not going to ask you about that shit because it has nothing to do with me. Like, if I'm not trying to lay up with you, why are we having a conversation about who's being laid up with, right?
Yeah,
And
it was one guy that we knew was a white male on the aircraft carrier, and we knew that he was a gay male, and you couldn't tell by looking at him or nothing like that. Like, he didn't have any kind of like outward displays, anything like that. He just, he'll mention that's what he do, but he actually stated to us that he did not like the other flamboyant gay males. He was like, that's just uncalled for. He said he hated them. He was like, because it makes him, he keeps his private life to himself. He'll share occasionally and when he's comfortable in a certain environment, but he was like, he doesn't like that kind of stuff. Then there was a black female that I served with, and she had a not legally, but she had a wife, and she had actually got in trouble because she brought her wife on the ship, and when it was time for all the visitors to leave the ship, she kept her on the ship in her rack and had her unofficial wife spend the night with her, and she got in trouble for that. So those are the only two instances that I recall.
And she got in trouble because her wife wasn't on the list of people who could stay on the boat
Yeah, she
overnight.
wasn't allowed to stay on. She purposely hid her in her rack, and when I say rack, that's her bed. Hid her in the female berthing with the rest of us because I didn't know. I was on watch. I just heard about it. But yeah, when it was time to depart, she did not have her wife depart. And when they came on the boat, they had to sign in, and they had the evidence that she did not sign out.
That's funny.
So yeah, she got in
Because to be
trouble.
super, super duper clear, if she had her husband and she had snuck her husband on, she would have still had the same consequences, right?
Yes, and
So
not
it had
not
nothing to
having
do
your
with
your
her
your
being gay.
visitors depart, so she got in trouble for that. She was not being punished because she was in a homosexual relationship. She got punished because she did not follow the orders, and the orders was your visitors and guests needed to depart the ship at like 9 o'clock, and you purposely hid this person on board. And when you were confronted about it, you lied about it.
There you go. See, and that's what I see more often than not, and then what's happening is the anecdotal stories are getting the the attention, the one-offs, the people who feel differently. Because I've met and been around a few gays in a different generation, older than mine, and they very much seem to align with the man that you were um, on leave with. And inside of that, it's like the new thing is to just put it in your face. And if you can't accept me putting it in your face, well, then you are not only a,
Phobic.
yeah, you're a phobic, you're a prejudice, you're a shit. They've called us racist before,
Mhm.
because we're letting them know that I don't want to see that shit. But if they're not black, then not only are we racist, but we are prejudiced and we are being discriminatory. And I personally don't like to see a man and woman at the grocery store tonguing each other down. Like I don't want to see that while
The
I'm
PDAs.
grocery store. I mean, I get it. Y'all really feeling each other, but then you could take it to the car, right? Or take it to the house, or take it away from my produce,
Get
because
a room. You know how you hear that?
right. No, so I if we're gonna say anything's our fault, I think that having that little gay best friend, that little, little the little boy, I don't think it's wrong that he's your best friend, but y'all champion for these niggas' rights way harder than you champion for our rights, like our rights. And I just don't understand that. And inside of that, we're going to have to do something about it. Like Black women who didn't champion that stuff, but weren't vocal. And maybe you weren't vocal because you're like us. We were not old enough per se to really have a voice to do anything about this stuff as much as, you, at your respective ages inside of whatever generation you are. If you're older than me, then you should have been louder about this if you had an issue. And if you're younger than me, the time is now. Now it's time to say some shit about some shit, because if we don't, they're going to continue to perpetuate some shit. 2% of the population is controlling the narrative for everybody else. How? And then if it's 2% of the population, isn't 14.4% bigger than 2? Like, can't Black America just step on them? I mean, and just kind of push them out of the way? Aren't we bigger than 2%? And if that is the math, like 14 is bigger than 2, it's time to do something, right? Like, yeah, all the way free, reparations, anti-Black hate crime bill, tangibles for FBA now, for sure. The time is now. Taisha, tonight I brought you on because you wanted to talk about the attempted assassination, some people say that it's not real. And I've even looked at some videos where it looks like he's put the bandage on the wrong ear. So I don't know what's going on. But I do know that you would have to be a hell of a marksman to just clip somebody's ear. And Trump would have to be very, very, very keen of his environment to move away from the shot. So like maybe if it was fake, then he didn't move far away enough, right? Like they were supposed to be shots fired and they were gonna save him from it or whatever, and then take the shooter down, and then it wasn't murder, it was just attempted murder. So, slap on the wrist type of shit, right? But that's not what happened. He did get clipped. There was blood. I didn't see a ketchup packet, but I did see people putting a ketchup packet on it. Y'all funny. But I just if it were staged, right? Like let's just go there. If it were staged and he wasn't really supposed to get hurt, then is America gullible enough to have our heartstrings pulled? Or is America fed up with what we've been getting? Old white men in the office. And now is time for a change. And if you want to have also your closing thoughts, because I know you probably got to get with the baby soon, you can do that too, because this will tie right into the rest of what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Yes, and I greatly appreciate this opportunity to come and get my thoughts out and just have you as a wonderful, brilliant mind to just, give me confirmation on a lot of stuff. Tonight, in this 47 minutes of being live, we have covered just about all of the 9 areas of people activity. Shout out to Neely Fuller Jr. Make sure you head over to producejustice.com and pick up your books. With the whole situation at the rally, I don't know what to believe. One of my favorite movies is They Live, where, the media was programmed to, make you see a certain thing, but you had to look deep within a lot of stuff. And to be honest, I have no clue what to believe because Donald Trump has a SAG card. He was in entertainment. He's part of the SAG union. So I don't know what to believe. I can't say that it was live. I can't say that it was staged. I don't know what to believe. So that's just where I'm at. I have no clue what to believe. And it's sad because a lot of us are at this point where something like that happens. I made a post on Facebook a few weeks ago. I was like, this year has been too quiet to be a selection year. And then all of a sudden things start popping off back to back to back. We got the DTZ rally. You got the president saying he's dropping out of the campaign. Just a whole bunch of stuff happening all at once. And I noticed with this, it wasn't, I don't think that the reaction from the public was what they thought it would be, back in the day, or with former presidents where, there's a public outcry and, a mourning and stuff like that. It kind of just felt like a TV show. It just didn't seem real. So I don't know what to believe with all that, but I just know that we have to pay attention to the code speak when it comes to stuff like, DI hire, be on point with your, personal protection, your 2A, as Professor Black Truth say, carry your steel, because if they're bold enough to do this kind of attempt at, a former president that has the, tightest security of them all, that leaves the average citizen very vulnerable. But I highly, highly recommend you just, anything that you see, approach it from the code book. How is this impacting? And just know that the white supremacists have infiltrated all areas of people activity. So just think with logic first, and don't let your emotions get in the way of making a clear, concise thought.
Absolutely. People don't know what to believe. You're not the only one who doesn't know what to believe. And I just find that is a sentiment that just keeps getting repeated every 4 years because niggas just don't know what to believe, but they know that they gonna vote blue. What the hell? No, Taisha, thank you for joining me tonight, and kiss the baby and tell the hubby we said hey.
Same. Likewise to the mister. Hug the minis. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yes, ma'am. Bye. And to the room, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I definitely still have some thoughts. I have some thoughts. My camera is not working. I don't know what's going on because I was on camera and then it said no. And I got all dressed up to be on camera today, so kind of bummed about that. I might try to figure it out over this little commercial break that I'm about to give you. And in the meantime, in between time, if you like the conversation, hit the likes. If you want to participate, the chat's there. And if you want to make other people uncomfortable, then hit the share and then send it to somebody. So,
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
that's right. Definitely, if you have a mini or want to be able to put some of these things in a way that you can explain it to a child, you should hit us up in Sunday school. I think that it's a good time to chop it up with the minis about some things that they are seeing that they might be hearing it's their fault too. I remember back in the day, when I was in school, we were told that it's our civic duty to participate in these shams. And I think, no, okay. All the way free. I don't know what you just said to me in the chat. It probably was a typo. So can you just send that to me again? Because I don't know what the fuck that says. Anyway, right, the minis, FBA Sunday School. We talk about these things that they get presented with and things that they're confused about. And if you are unable to put it in a way that makes sense for them, you should definitely hit us up. I know that as parents, we get the ick feeling when we're talking about the birds and the bees. But right now, if you're not talking to them about the birds who want to be bees, you're not helping them out at all. You are just setting them up for a land where people don't have to show you their birth certificate. And I'm going to be 1,000,000,000% with y'all. Like, there's no reason to cap on this app. I didn't ask for neither one of the men who have married me for their birth certificate. I never had the thought that they might not be men. I never had the thought that I wouldn't get pregnant from them and the sex with them, because that's what happens when you have sex, right? But no, in real time, we are about to exist in a land where people are going to have pieces and parts that look like what they're supposed to look like. Goddamn, we actually live in a land in a time right now where people already have pieces and parts, and you niggas is acting like you don't know what's the real thing and what's not. And if you don't know what's the real thing and what's not right now, then oh my God, can you imagine the landscape for these babies who will be adults in 10 years and 20 years? These babies who have parents who don't want to talk to them about these ick things because, well, I'm not a bee and a bee. That's not happening over here. I don't show them that stuff. I keep it off the TV. Okay. And you might. Shout out to the parents who are able to effectively keep the programming in-house. right? Because we can't say that the minis are not being programmed. You guys are being programmed every day with the things that you listen to, the things that you ingest, the people that you're around. It's all programming. From there, is it something that's going to help you, or is it something that's going to hinder you? That's why people say, you want to be around people who will level you up. You don't want to be the brightest in the room. You don't want to be the smartest in your group of friends. You want to be around people who can move the needle. But I get it. Some of y'all actually do like being the smartest in the room. When that happens, you will turn on the mic and not turn on the camera, and then be live for hours because you like being the smartest in the room, or at least the perceived smartest. Because when you drop big words and then you act like the audience who's listening to you doesn't know what you're talking about, because they've never heard the word soliloquy before, and then you're all
Look
like,
it up.
okay, maybe they've never heard the word soliloquy, but you could just either not use the word or give them a different word or explain it in real time. And, I can't sometimes with you guys, because I understand that programming is real, but it's time to get deprogrammed. Unlearn, relearn, unlearn, relearn. Y'all thought that learning about who you was as a Black person was as much as you had to do. And now you woke, but you're still working your 9 to 5. But you on it. You know the things. Kamala's not Black. Or Kamala. Kamala's not Black. Nigga, if you calling her Kamala, you probably Blackifying her. Her name is Kamala. And I'm gonna stop fucking her name up, because I don't like when people fuck my name up. So she got a little melanin in her. I don't want to be disrespectful as much as I want to be true and honest about the things. If you were to ask me, should you vote for Kamala, I would tell you no. And it's not because I don't like her. I would say no because I don't think that she's the best person for the job. But that's not something that you guys are giving us at all. The people who don't participate in shams. You're not giving us the benefit of the doubt of knowing. Somebody is racing on the street. You're not giving us the benefit of the doubt of knowing what the fuck we're talking about. You're thinking that this is an emotional conversation. If I can just, play on your emotion strings and play that little violin harp thing in the background, that it'll make you do something different. And yeah, that might have worked for the niggas that are older than me, but I can only speak for me. And if you feel like me, then I guess I'm speaking for you too, but it's not my intent to put how I feel on you. This is not an echo chamber. You can disagree. It's cool. I'm not here to tell you how to feel. But if you ask me if I was going to vote for Trump, or if you should vote for Trump, I would say no. And it's not because I don't like him. That's because I don't think he's the best for the job. Now, here's the kicker. This is the defining moment between if you can navigate this conversation well, or if you will just go with the flow because it's easier being sheep. When they present the opposing question, well, then who do you vote for if you don't like Kamala and you don't like Trump, or you don't think that Kamala's the best for the job and you don't think Trump's the best for the job? Well, then who do you vote for? And here's the answer. If you didn't know, I'm going to tell you. So, and tell all your friends. This is not a secret. You don't vote for anybody. That's how you handle that conversation. And you let them know that you're not going to vote for anybody. Why? Because the best person for the job is not there. And I'm not a person who wants to get on an airplane knowing that my pilot passed at the bottom of his class, nor am I a person who wants to know that the doctor that's operating on me or my loved ones passed at the bottom of his class. No, I want the people who are professional and doing the jobs that they're supposed to do. I want them to be the best. And, if I'm paying the money, if I'm doing the things that would afford me the best, then why can't I have the best? And if I can't have the best, then I guess I'll go at it on my own. Black Wall Street existed in a time where niggas was not allowed to, quote, participate, end quote, in these conversations. Not really. And inside of that time, we thrived. And yes, Russell, absolutely. We should not vote for Kamala, Eve, Kamala. We should not vote for Kamala because she's already stated that she will not do anything specifically for Black people. Amen to that, brother. Absolutely. And, that it's not a hard conversation as much as it does make people uncomfortable, because you guys have it ingrained in you that you have to perform your civic duty. But I would argue that your civic duty is to make sure that the best person for the job is doing the job. And if there is no best person, then you need to be strong enough, fit enough to do some shit on your own. But no, you guys are afraid of what would happen if the grocery store is closed because you don't know how to grow your food. You don't know how to hunt. You don't know what's native to your environment. So even if you didn't grow food and you didn't hunt, you can't even go outside and eat the right berries because y'all niggas would die. That's not the best for the job, and I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but maybe it's time for a change. But let me not talk about change. Let me give it to you from the man himself. Y'all's favorite geriatric. Okay. Now you don't want to play for me? Hold up. There we go. Starting it over. Again, y'all's favorite geriatric.
In recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. There is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. I'd like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter, from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. You just have to keep the faith. And remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together. Preserve our democracy. God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
All right. You heard it from the man himself. He wants to pass the torch to the next generation. What? Kamala will be 60 in October. But if we're going to be honest, how old is Joe? That's what I just Googled real quick. All right. It says that Joe Biden is, well, he was born in 1942. So, carry the 1 and cross the T and dot the I. Joe Biden is 80 fucking 2? Are y'all serious? Hold up, wait a minute. Is that real? Hold up. Okay, Joe Joe Biden is 80 fucking 2, you guys. And he said he's gonna pass the torch to the next generation. Do y'all remember when I showed you the graphic of the generations and I had a conversation about not trusting them old niggas, and then I tried to give it to you in a graphic that you've might have seen before. Maybe you are familiar with the different terms because that is your generation. You know who y'all are, but you don't necessarily understand where it fits in the timeline. But if you don't know the generations, let me see if I can show it for you. I guess there's a little bit of discrepancy about some of the years and then some of the slang names for the generation. But just for shits and giggles, this is a quick Google search or Bing search. The silent generation, 1928 to 1945, that is Joe Biden's generation, right? Because he's born in 1942. Okie dokie. Now you take Kamala, she'll be 60 in October. She was born in 1964. Are you guys seeing it? All right, the silent generation, 1942, is passing the torch to the baby boomer, 1964. And okay, just because we're honest over here, she is the youngest person in that generation, right? Because she's born in 64. And he said that he was passing it on to the next generation. So he didn't lie. No, Joe didn't lie right there. He said he was going to pass it on to the next generation. But it's just, it makes me wonder, is it our fault? What's our fault? Some of the things that are our fault are only our fault because we don't say enough. And the reason that you have to say stuff is because you won't do anything if you haven't said that you would do it. A lot of you guys are hear no evil, speak no evil, think no evil type people. You know, if it doesn't exist where you are, then you don't have to think about it. You know, that's why you can, know about Black people in poverty and look at your life and say, I'm good, even though we're not good. And that's not just you, because you got like the everybody's favorite Blacks who feel the same way, from Oprah to LeBron to whoever the fuck you want to put there, if they haven't done something for our community specifically, and that you guys don't know about. Because sometimes people do things under the radar, and then you find out after they died that they really was doing all these things. And I'm not negating the things if people are validating the things, but when these things happen under the radar, the majority of us don't do anything in real time because we don't know that other people are doing it. Black America has a herd mentality, and I can't escape the feeling that the herd mentality, go along to get along, I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to be targeted, that has to be something of the past. We can't continue to allow different things around us just because it's not something that we're doing. If you are the adult in the room and you see some children and they're fighting, and I mean they are fighting, are you going to allow them to continue to fight? Or as the adult in the room, are you going to break it up and try to do something about it? And I mean children like under the age of 10, and they're going at it fighting, not a 14-year-old and other teenagers. No, because at that point, some of them are bigger than us. Yes, some of them children are bigger than me. And I don't know that I would be getting in the middle of that fight. So this is a very specific analogy. If you are the adult in the room and you're around some children and they are fighting, blows, going at it, bleeding, people are really getting hurt, are you going to allow them to continue to fight? Or are you going to do something about it? Because the way y'all niggas is acting about some of this stuff, you're Like, nah, I'll just let them fight. Fuck it. Somebody will get knocked out soon enough. But if they really fighting like that, then maybe somebody's about to die. And are y'all really like that person? You just let some kids just kill each other? Is that where we are, Black America? Because I find that if that's where we are, it is our fault and we need to do something about it. You know, I had a show earlier in the week or last week or this week. I don't remember. It's either this week or last week. It's all her fault. You know, this is related. It's our fault because some of these things are our fault and we're just allowing the existence of because we don't participate. Don't be a bystander, nigga. Be a do stander. That's not a word. No, just the same way that you guys would do something if you saw something happening right in front of you. This stuff is happening right in front of you. And we have a chance right now to be the people that y'all tell yourself that you are, the bigger person, the more humane, the better person. Shit. If they go low, this is us going high because we care enough about each other to make sure that we're not allowing negative things to fester. You know, if you go buy a bag of apples from wherever you get your apples from, and one of them starts to rot, I know that unless you're not paying attention to it, you're not going to let that apple just sit there. Because yes, sometimes you don't know that the apple has started to rot, and then you find it later. You know, you've for whatever reason have picked every apple outside of that apple, and by the time you get to that apple, it's like super nasty on one side, and you didn't see it because you never picked that apple and you just didn't notice it. Your sense of your environment, you're not too keen on things. If you'll allow something to just rot from there, you know, it's like when you buy a house or when you start living on your own and you read things about like mold and mildew, you start having weird allergies and you don't know why. Come to find out, there's some mold in the crawl space or in the attic or, you know, in a place that you don't actually have access to because you're renting. It's like an apartment complex or whatever. And, you know, now you have a reason for why you've got these issues. Are you going to allow the mold, mildew to just be there? Or are you going to do something about it? We can't keep being people who just deal with the mold and the mildew as much as, yeah, some of y'all have a very real story where you've had to be in living conditions where you had to just deal with it, from mold, mildew to pests and toxins. I mean, they've really been trying to take us out. And I just find that if you don't want to do anything about the national discourse revolving around us, it is your fault. It won't be my fault because I'm talking about it. It won't be your fault here in the chat because y'all are participating in the conversations, but it can't just stay in the chat. You know, it can't just stay here on the internet. That's why, you know, being outside is something that I try to give you evidence of to show you, hey, you're not going to be the only one when you step outside. There are other people who are very ready to go. But that's dangerous. You know, these are fighting words for the dominant society. And not dominant because they got more numbers, not dominant because they're stronger, dominant because they're the ones in power right now. From the lowest of their lows, it's almost like y'all niggas never read To Kill a Mockingbird when you was in school. And maybe you didn't because, shit, I've had students who checked out of school a long time before they got to me when you would read To Kill a Mockingbird. But if they haven't, or if they still a little bit interested and they read it, they start to see similarities between what happened then and what's going on now. That book is old as fuck. It was written in 1960. So yeah, old as fuck because it's a lot older than me. But old enough to where, you know, if you're not a lot younger than me, you definitely should have come across it in your school days. And it should have been something that impressed on you. Why? Why? Because the main character, the main black character, you know, he gets the shit end of the stick because he didn't rape this chick who blamed him for raping her. And then the main white character is this white savior who ends up not being able to save him. Because why? Because the white people in the town, the other main characters who don't feel the same way like the white savior does, they end up getting their justice. And the story's all told from the point of view of a little white girl who's grown up now and has seen some things and just kind of understands life a little bit better. And every time I think about that fucking book, I'm like, damn, I really hope that the children who had to read this book and show comprehension and understanding and stuff, because it is on the list of appropriate books in my state. You know, it's widely taught. Maybe it won't be in the future. And actually, y'all, look, I had a whole student's mom, black melanated student. Ha ha ha. She was melanated. She was not black. I had a whole melanated student whose mom came up to the school and told me that she did not want her daughter reading To Kill a Mockingbird because it said nigger too many times in the book. And I don't even know how many times it says nigger. It might be 10, maybe 10. But her mom didn't want her reading the book because it said nigger with the hard R. And fine, public school, they allow you to opt out of different things. You know, private school, you can't really opt out because you've opted in. So there's a difference. But I read it in private school. I read it to the students in public school. And that book, that's a book y'all need to study because it was written in the 60s. From there, it was written about a time in the past. It wasn't written about current 60s. Remember, it's written by a little white girl from her point of view of, I've learned some things. I know some things now. And while she doesn't spell out the racism, she does spell out the fact that things are not the same, because you got these fucking white trash, louse-ridden people that nobody fucks with. Nobody in a town fucks with these people, but they got more rights than that nigga who didn't do it. You know, because remember, she's telling a story about the past, and so she already knows all the things about what happened. But in the story, you don't get it like that. You get it from her first person perspective in real time. Like, she is that little girl and she is going through this. So her understanding doesn't come until much later in the book. I know I'm kind of going off on this book. The reason is because, you know, FBA Sunday School, I swear to God, if y'all are not having these conversations with your babies, you need to come to Sunday school, or you need to put them in Sunday school. It's not church, but it's like church. It is a way to get them prepared for the fuckery. Because if you were in my class and we studied that book, we talked about the fact that, this seems a little similar to today, doesn't it? And when I ask a leading question like that, I don't fill in the blank, but it is a leading question. And children who are people pleasers, they are attention seeking, and they want you to tell them that they did a good job. You know, they're going to agree, but if you agree with me without any evidence of I don't accept that. But in real time, no, they can actually look at the fucking news and pull a story that I've never heard of about people I would never know about, and show me a similarity between the main black character who didn't do it and how they're getting consequences, getting murdered, getting lynched. Because, you know, they told niggas that lynching was when you get strung up in a tree. But really, lynching is when you've got mob justice happening against us. That's lynching. Okay, I'm sorry. Joe Biden said that he was passing the torch to the next generation, and I can't call cap. He didn't lie. But I can say that that's not good enough, Joe. because on Twitter, the very next day, and I'm talking hours after everybody found out that Joe was not going to be running for re-election anymore and he was supporting Kamala's bid, I saw tweets that said, Trump would never, but not in the way that you think. They were saying that Joe Biden's such a good guy. He's such a bigger man. He's such the right person that he would step down and do the bigger thing. What? Okay. No, I'm sorry. At 82, and a lot of 82-year-olds are losing their privilege to drive. I don't know that you should be in control of the 40 to 70 million billion. I'm sorry. I don't know how many people America has, but however many people we have, because they keep changing the numbers and adding more people who are not supposed to be here, you shouldn't be in charge of that. The fact that there's so many people here that's not supposed to be here proves to me that you're not the best person for the job. Right? Or am I wrong? Like, what are we talking about? No, we're having a conversation with an 82-year-old who's saying that a 60-year-old is the best person for the job. And in real time, I'm like, well, where are we getting these rules from, right? Because maybe it's the rules that are having the issue. And it is, in a way, right? Because we're going off the Constitution. The Constitution says that you can't be president until you turn 35. You know, when I started speaking these bold thoughts to my family with the focus of putting our needs and interests first above everything else, above me being a woman and above me being a person who has lived in poverty and above everything else, just being Black first. They were so confused because my life, it's a glitch. I mean, right now I'm literally glitching based off of the programming that I was introduced to because I went to private school and I was around a lot of them people. And when I say them people, I'm talking white people and off the boat melanated people. It's a lot of them from where I'm from, and be that as it may, I didn't get with Enrico, and I didn't get with Brad. I ended up getting with two niggas who are completely different and very much the same because they're both foundational, and it's like a glitch. To choose to do more than you have to when you don't have to. That's why white people look at their women and say, why would you go be with that nigga when you know that it means that we're going to cut you off, and you know that it means that you're going to get scrutinized in public, and you know that that's just not some shit we do. And they say, because of love. But the niggas don't love us. But I can say because of love, because I do love us. I love everything about us, even the bad stuff, because I feel like it's just the people aspect, right? Everybody's not going to be perfect. Hell's got to have some people in it, goddammit, right? So let's reserve that for the lowest of the low, and let me not be the person to cast any judgments. But 35, my parents would say, well, why don't you just run for president? And, they were saying that type of shit when I was 30. So either these niggas don't know the qualifications or requirements for president, or they just thought that we were in a time where you could just change the rules. Shit, you feel so strongly, you can just change the rules. And I never got an answer to that question because I never asked it directly. But 35, I just 2 years ago, I just was able to run for president. And I don't know that I want to be the president, just like I don't know if I want to be a mayor or a governor. And I don't think that people who feel like we need something done for us specifically have to go be the person to make the change. In the same form and fashion that you don't see all these Asian people in positions of power, yet these niggas have a whole crime bill. You can't say the Wuhan virus. You can't act like the takeout was being discriminatory towards you and shit. They can call the cops on you even after you've paid for the service. They've not given you the product, or it's not the quality that you are expecting for how much you pay. You get mad at Ling Ling, and not do anything. You get mad at Biden, not do anything. Y'all niggas is setting an example of us being niggas who don't do nothing. You can't be mad about the things and then not do something. That's when the shit becomes your fault. That's why Benjamin, whatever the fuck, however you say his name, the Israel leader, Benjamin, he's on the screen right there. You see, I'm serving tea tonight. That's not me. She looks good though, a little AI version. If I can get my platinum like that, I'd be very happy. I digress. The Israel leader, Benjamin, dude, he spoke to members of Congress this week. And not only did he ask for more money for the war, he said that that they had virtually zero civilian casualties. And if that is not the biggest crock of shit that I've heard all week. I mean, really, there's people going back and forth on Facebook all day, and I don't have Facebook anymore, so I don't see it like that. But if I was to tune into that side of Twitter, I'm sure that I'd see the same thing. And the back and forth has been about how many deaths on both sides. You've got the small hats, and you've got the people who they say are not supposed to be in the small hats land. Everybody's dying. But this nigga Benjamin said that we've got virtually no casualties. Are we paying attention to the words that these people are using? Because when you say virtually, that means that there have been some, but it's not enough to count. It's almost like y'all understand demon time. But if you did, then why aren't you responding with demon time? I mean, Israel and Palestine, that's not Black America's fight as much as the example has been out there. We have been the example. They will use us as the example. And when we fight back, people start doing things differently around the world. I mean, really, they're CARICOM and NARC and NCOBRA and their insertion into our claim, because those are groups that are not for Black America. These groups are inserting themselves into our reparative justice claim, and we've allowed it, right? Because we voted for them niggas because they was Black, right? No. If you see something, you say something, and here's the $64 million question. What if nobody comes? Does that mean you don't do something? Here's the example. Here's the analogy for tonight. Another one, I know. If there was a child stuck in a drain, stuck in a tree, if there was a child stuck somewhere that you couldn't comfortably get to help them, you call for help. Somebody help me. There's a child stuck in a drain. Pennywise got him. And they say, okay, yeah, we hear you got a problem. Somebody's gonna come. Get off the phone, and you're like, well, Johnny, somebody's coming. And then nobody comes. Do you you chill with Johnny until when? Or at some point, do you realize that nobody's coming? Or y'all niggas probably call back. You said somebody was coming. Come and get Johnny. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah. We coming. We're coming. Because I know you niggas. I seen you niggas. I've seen you in real time. No, y'all will throw on the fucking cape for Johnny if he got blue eyes. And you'll help him. You might not have originally helped him, right? But if nobody's coming, you find out nobody's coming, you're in that environment of, I'm gonna have to be the help. I've seen you be the help for everybody else. Y'all are the help so much that studies have been shown and people have been interviewed and answered honestly about what you would do. How do you instruct your children if they get lost in the woods? If they get lost, how do you instruct them? Oh, you go find the biggest Black man you can find. that nigga will take you to safety on some Green Mile type shit. What? White people saw Green Mile and was like, yep, Mr. Coffee, that's my nigga right there. And then they taught their minis to go find the biggest one. And then you niggas was like, oh shit, little Johnny is here and I gotta save him because, you know, if I don't, then they gonna think I did it. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't think that you did it, but damn it, how did they even know you was there? Because of you, right? Your ass fucking called and said, you know, I'm here. There's a little boy, Johnny, you know, Johnny, whatever, and send help for Johnny. All right, so they don't send help because, you know, you didn't tell them it was a little white boy Johnny. And they just thought that Johnny was short for Jonquel or Johnisha or whatever the fuck nigga name that you want to make longer for being nicknamed Johnny, right? Because he's a nigga, right? They just making these associations on their own because we live in a system that does that. So they don't send help. And then they finally do send help, right? But your ass didn't do anything for Johnny, right? Because you the nigga who calls for help but doesn't do anything to help, right? That has to be the math because that's what y'all are doing when you do these other things that I'm telling you is very weird and strange, comes from somewhere else, becomes your fault because you didn't do something. But I know that's actually not what y'all niggas do because you're like, nah, they not about to blame me for this shit. So I'm gonna fucking help Johnny. And then when they get here, I'm gonna tell them I helped Johnny. I'm gonna tell them I ain't put Johnny in the drain. He was there when I got here. You got all the right story. You ready to go? You got footage. You came across Johnny on your phone. If you just look at the camera, right? Just look at the footage, right? The footage, right? That should save you from being blamed. And I guess sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Like the little white boy whose dad dropped him off in the freezing canal, and this melanated man who happened to be in a kayak in the same canal in the same time frame didn't see the boy get dropped off the boat, but did come across the boy in the freezing water and got him to safety. And do you know that there were spicy less people in the comments saying that he should have done more? He's in a kayak. Oh, y'all need to see it? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna show it to you. But I got it loaded up, so yeah, give me a second. While you wait.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one.
All right, thank you for your patience. And here you go, just in case you haven't seen this. This is from 2022, so 2 years ago.
The viral video of a man rescuing a boy from the St. Louis River near Duluth.
It happened the afternoon of July 5th. David Jones Jr. was fishing when he heard the 6-year-old screaming. He saw him floating in the river by himself about 300 yards from shore. John Lauritsen spoke with Jones about the rescue and how he managed to stay calm in a very stressful situation.
David Jones Jr. had actually turned on his camera because he was in the process of reeling in a fish, but he never got to see what was on the other end of the line.
I had hit the record button on my GoPro and I was fighting the fish for probably close to 8 or 9 minutes maybe. And then that's when I heard the scream.
The screams were coming from the middle of the St. Louis River.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there because I know y'all niggas is gonna be like, that hairline's a little janky and he might not be like us, right? And I'm gonna give that to you because I don't know what this man is. I just know that he is melanated and saved this 6-year-old out the fucking river. 6. I didn't remember how old the little boy was. I just remembered he was a little boy in the river. But okay, here we go.
Close to 8 or 9 minutes maybe. And then that's when I heard the scream.
The screams were coming from the middle of the St. Louis River, where a 6-year-old boy was struggling by himself in the current. It was a part of the river where a man drowned the year before.
I had almost that sense of urgency. I needed to stop what I'm doing and kayak over there and get that kid and get him to safety.
Now, that's what I'm familiar with. You know, niggas who are going to stop what they're doing and go save little Jimmy from his demise, right? And in real time, you know, you've got the broke authority talking about, you know, real men and thoughts. Do real men hang out with thoughts? I mean, I would say that this man, who I don't know is foundational or not, with the janky hairline, is more man than the broke authority is, because, well, I mean, I can see him. You guys can see him. And then, I mean, what a selfless act, right? He's going out of his way to save this little boy. He heard the scream and is going out of his way. I don't know if this man was trying to go viral or not, you know, because I guess if you come across a situation and you can be the nigga savior, you can definitely go viral with some content like that. White people love that shit, right? But in real time, he would have had to known that the little boy's daddy was about to drop him off in the water and then be there to capitalize off of it, right? Because that's how Jeremy works. Like, this nigga is only around for the capitalization of, the monetization of. Yeah, it's not for the people, not for the good of anybody, really. It's very self-serving. It's very selfish, and that might be our fault too. You know, I'm a claim ownership on faults of why Black America can get stuck on stupid. But you know, when people are able to articulate some things, you know, we start to turn a blind eye to other things. And you know, maybe you didn't hear about this story because your favorite, the broke authority, didn't talk about it. But this was a story that was brought to my attention a while ago, and I just find that it is so familiar. And since it's so familiar, you niggas need to pay attention to it. Like, look at the little boy.
It was a part of the river where a man drowned the year before.
The little boy was dropped in the river in the same area somebody else had drowned. All right. And I know I haven't played the whole video, and y'all don't even know why the boy's in the water, but neither did this nigga. And his first immediate instinct was go save him. It was not, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. It was not, what am I going to gain from this? Nah, I'm not going to get anything from this. Or maybe he did. He saw a moment where he could capitalize off of it, and he sunk his teeth into it. You know, that happened a couple different times over my tenure with the New Black Media. Situations that have been opportunities for people to capitalize off of it. But then where does it go? Here's a thought. And then I'm going to get back to Mr. Hairline on the screen. But ozone. Y'all know who ozone is? I mean, if you listen to the New Black Media, you should know who Ozone Otha Wallace is. But he's a Black man who had his rights hindered and trampled on, and him defending himself landed him in jail, and with the death penalty on the line. From there, you know, people talking about it, there's some buzz. You know, it's polarizing. It is it's a man with a family. You know, you can kind of get some heartstrings around it, and when given an opportunity to talk about it, sure, because there's already been enough talk about it. But then what? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, in real time, that nigga did not talk about it again until he was asked again to talk about it. And even then, it was like weeks of not talking about it before he was like, all right, shit, I don't have anything else to talk about tonight, so let me talk about this. And then he pulled in the sob story that is baby Micah. That's really fucked up, to capitalize off of us like that. Because, I mean, shit happens, right? Like, you get shot by the police because you was a nigga in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or you was just at the grocery store at the time that you shop for groceries and you was just black and the person who had the gun was not and they didn't like you and now you're gone. That happens all the time, right? And as unfeeling as you think that I'm being about this, you guys have allowed it. It's your fault. We're desensitized to some things because it's in our face all the time. I mean, y'all have allowed them to just push shit in our face, and unless it's something to capitalize off of, you're not going to do anything about it. Unless it's something that's directly affecting you, you're not going to do anything about it. Unless it's somebody else. I can't make that math. And, if we're going to be protecting the minis from these predators, I have to start questioning the circles that I'm in. Are these circles or are these squares? Because, God damn it, I thought it was a circle, but it's starting to have these points, and circles don't have points. It's like a star now. And, a star can exist inside of a circle, but it definitely has significant points. And the points are telling me that it's not a point. It's the circle. And I can't unsee the fact that it's not a circle anymore. It's a star. And if we're lying about where we are because we like to be there, it's the same conversation over and over and over again. Delineation, because some people don't have the same thoughts. They're not practicing the same traditions. They're not participating in the same things. They're not having the same conversations. But how? They're using English. We're talking about the same things. But no, the English language is so beautiful. It's so magnificent. It's such a nigga invention that I don't understand why y'all won't use it to your benefit. If you know that there's 10 different ways to say what's up or hey, or even 10 different meanings for that's some shit, or 10 different understandings of you good? Like, how? How can we do that and then not use it? Because people keep telling us that we can't have conversations on these apps because they're listening to us. Eve, you're telling all the secrets. Eve, you're going to get us caught. And Eve, no. The fucking fraudulent business told y'all niggas that he couldn't be on camera because the government. What? And then in real time, y'all niggas said you didn't have to go outside because the broke authority doesn't go outside. He doesn't show his face. Why do I have to show mine? And then you get little glitches, right? Like Tariq, who is like, nah, I'm going to be outside. I'm cool. I know how to be outside. And y'all niggas want to join me outside? I'll be outside. So maybe he didn't want to be outside by himself, right? But that's how y'all are. Secretly, y'all don't want to be outside by yourself. Because if you did, I would see you already. Like, we would be outside. I wouldn't be on this app talking to you about it's our fault. But it is our fault. Really, collectively, Black America has a lot of shit cleaning to do. And the same way I say America needs a flea bath, and I really mean America. I'm not just talking about Black America. I mean, everybody in this bitch needs to be cleaned because there's somebody lurking somewhere that don't need to be there. And, some thorough spring cleaning is necessary. And it's a little bit more than spring cleaning because, God damn it, the dirt is biting. But I mean, I guess if you've got chemicals, right? You got your DEET, you can spray and you won't be affected by the fleas, but your environment gets to exist with fleas. But come on, I'm talking about fitness too, because damn it, if you spraying chemicals, are you fit or are you phony? Or you influenced by some chemicals? Like, have y'all not seen about this spray? Was it Monsanto? You know, they had the weed killer is a spray. You spray it on your weeds in your yard, and it'll get rid of the weeds and help you have nice, pretty grass. And then years later, niggas is having all sorts of weird ass cancer. And it's directly related to the spray that's supposed to help your grass be all nice and pretty and green. And yeah, you got a nice chair grass. You got a beautiful lawn. You're not here to fucking benefit from it because, well, you got cancer and died. That would be your fault. I would say that's a self-inflicted wound. Another self-inflicted wound. You know, this nigga's public. No, let me not say that. You can listen to him some more.
I had almost that sense of urgency. I needed to stop what I'm doing and kayak over there and get that kid and get him to safety.
Just calm down. You're on my boat. You don't have to worry about the current taking you out.
David says his law enforcement background helped him to calmly react to a serious situation.
Can you do that for me?
Yes.
You're strong, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I just need to be strong for a few more seconds. All right?
He learned the boy had been separated from his dad's sailboat, which may have been pushed away by the wind and was nowhere in sight.
I believe he was in the early stages of getting hypothermia. He couldn't remember how old he was. He barely remembered his name. The face was starting to turn a little bit blue, and he was just constantly telling me like that he was cold.
We're almost there, okay?
Yeah.
We're making waves. Are you cold?
Yeah.
All right.
The boy hung on while David paddled 300 yards to shore, completing the rescue and eventually reuniting the boy with his family.
Can you make it up? Hold on. Good job.
David says he still has a lot of questions as to how the boy ended up in the water by himself. In the meantime, he wants people to know who the real hero is.
For him to scream as loud as he could in that manner to get help, like, you know, to me, that kid is the real hero. That kid is the one who's really strong. That kid is the one who needs all the love and support.
John Lordson, WCCO 4 News.
Now, what that news clip didn't show you was the dad, right? Because they just took him home. They just took little Timmy home. And if I knew how to post little messages in the chat like I used to, then I would put a polling question up. Who here thinks the dad got any sort of consequences for little Timmy ending up outside of his boat? Do you think that he got consequences, or did you think that he didn't get consequences? And I'm not here to what's the word? Make you feel stupid, right? That's a very real question, because maybe you think that something could have happened, right? And then little Timmy got kicked off the boat, and who knows what happened to dad? And you know, it's okay. All's fair now, because Timmy is reunited with his family. Because not only do I know what happened with Timmy's dad, and if I can find it, I'll show it to you. I did have to give you a little commercial break to show you that, but Timmy's dad didn't get any consequences, and no, Timmy didn't fall off the boat. And if Timmy was Tyrone, and Tyrone happened across a Brad who found him in the water and reunited him with his family, Brad would be a hero, and Tyrone's parents would be in jail for negligence. Shit, Tyrone was on a fucking school field trip and got, you know, separated from the group, turns up missing, and the parents get in trouble for it, because that's how they like to blame us. No, we can't accept those blames and labels as much as the things that you don't want to talk about, those things that those uncomfortable conversations, our role in the acceptance of and how people have gotten so comfortable being disrespectful. That's really where our attention needs to be. I promise you, if that black man was on camera, some drone happened to pick up footage of the black man passing little Timmy in that river, he would have gotten in trouble for not helping him. I guarantee it, and I would put money on it. And I don't want, little Timmy to get thrown back in the river, because that's basically what happened. His dad was on some like survival type shit, like, what happens when this happens? And because it's happened so many times before, that was not the first time, you guys. It was not the first time that dad threw that little baby off that boat and he was supposed to get himself to safety. Now, this is survival in the wilderness types of shit. And in real time, these other people are doing this to their children and they ain't making it, y'all. I just read a story before I went live about this child who froze to death in the garage because the parent put them in the garage as a consequence for some shit. And the child was found, his body temperature was 72 degrees. And they also said that he had signs of abuse, like not sexual abuse, but physical abuse. And y'all have to think. I mean, they know that it's a dog eat dog world. They are really trying to breed these little warrior children, but they can't hack it because they're not warrior children. They are the children of them people. And without a nurturing and loving environment, they do not exist the way that we do, under pressure. And look at the stats yourself. I'm going to keep talking about this until y'all tell me that you know the stats like the back of your hand. But the stats of domestic abuse, suicide, and drug use during the time of the mass experiments here in America, the numbers went haywire with regards to them people. I'm talking throwing themselves off of buildings type shit. And Black America continued to exist and survive, and I would slightly say thrive, because our numbers are not in the red. We are not declining like everybody else. And shit, look at yourself in the mirror. Most of y'all don't look as old as you are, because they say black don't crack. But they weren't talking about the universal black. They were talking about us. Because, MJ is immortal and Michael Jackson is immortal, and they people across the world see these people as their prime or as how they were introduced to them, and then they see them again and it's been 20 years and that nigga looked the same. They were out here saying Pharrell was a vampire because he didn't show signs of aging for years. And I mean, if you look at Pharrell now, he kind of looked old, but he still doesn't look like how they look when they start aging, because not only does it start a lot quicker, but you got to think about their existence here. Their existence here has been off of our backs. After they were not able to do it like that, they actually had to do some work to do it off of our backs. Things started to change. Inside of that change, you've got 2024. That's the year that they've identified us to be in, based off the Gregorian calendar that society widely accepts as the time. And they're in the global red. And we're not. So maybe we should pay attention to that, right? Because if they're not supposed to be here and they can't even do the things that they need to do to exist here naturally without a lot of complications, Yeah, Russell, the sun breaking them down. I've never heard someone put it like that, but I have heard people say they burn in the sun, right? I've heard them say they burn in the sun. Well, shit, isn't that the sun breaking down your skin? Shit, I'm sorry. I won't say shit again. But that's pretty on point. Inside of that, it's probably deeper. It's probably some cellular stuff, the sun breaking them down. I mean, if you used to exist in the caves, your eyes turn light, your hair doesn't stand up anymore. You know, maybe exposure to something that is as powerful as the sun would eventually break you down. Because are we supposed to exist like that? Like, do y'all know why they're here? I don't know why they're here. People say that there was some real powerful niggas back in the day, and they was in the kitchen cooking, and they cooked up these niggas, right? I don't know if I believe that or not. I think a scientific explanation that I understand is that an ice age happened, and the niggas who was everywhere had to find cover. And if the cover was a cave, and the cave don't have no sun, then maybe you would lose your melanin. The same way niggas get lighter in the wintertime. I mean, I've seen that happen with my own eyes. And then, you know, maybe over time you wouldn't have so much melanin in your eyes either. I mean, Wesley Snipes. Yeah, you know, maybe we got some Wesley Snipes blades going on, right? That's funny. Yeah. And it's even more funny because it's ironic. So it's like funny, haha, and it's like funny, ironic because their media can tell you about life in the future, in the current, in the past, but y'all niggas want to laugh. Y'all niggas want to be entertained. You want to be scared. But real life is way more entertaining. It's way more scary. It's way more loving, and all of these feelings that you would want to sit back and watch, but y'all not living your lives as much as you're being told how to do things, what to do, who to listen to, who not to listen to. And inside of all of those complications, niggas, you better get your booty to the polls. Our sister Taisha earlier was talking about the BET Awards and how they've got the lowest of the low being the example of Black. And then awarding it. What? No. No. Because BET isn't even us anymore. Maybe it used to be us back in the day, but the same way that y'all niggas will be mad at Eddie for getting with Paige or whatever the fuck her name is and tainting the gene pool, right? Watering down his line. Y'all niggas have so much to say about people watering down some lines, but when our things get infiltrated, you won't give it the same care. I guess when BET got sold, that we should have maybe either not let it get sold or make sure that we was a buyer. And if we weren't going to be a buyer, then maybe we remove ourselves from the conversation, let the niggas have it, but really let them have it. You can't be BET if no niggas participate. It can't be Black entertainment television. How are you Wesley Snipes? Okay, you are as Black as Wesley Snipes. And I'm not going to put you on blast and put you on Front Street and show people Wesley Snipes, but I think everybody knows that Bernie Mac said that nigga was a Black. But, you know, in Blade, he was a vampire, a daywalker. He was able to exist and do some things. And I don't see Blade out here because y'all niggas ain't outside you listening to a person who doesn't go outside except for pussy and to make some money. And look, I know when I said it out loud, I still I can't be mad at that. Because if it ain't about the money, what are we talking about? But then what money? Talking about y'all's money? Am I talking about, shout out to Russell? He shoots me a cash out sometimes, because I feel like he be feeling my message. And I think that that's why y'all would do something like that. Like you are feeling what somebody's saying and you're like, shit, I want to clap. They can't hear me clap. So let me do something else. And then you get thousands of people who do that. And now you've garnered a way to have an income. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at someone putting in work and getting paid for it. No, I get irritated when I hear people having arguments or dissent or misunderstandings about very simple things. But I've listened to Mr. Neely Fuller. I've read Mr. Neely Fuller, and the people that I've listened to have said, hey, this is a person you need to listen to. And then from there, it's like, well, shit, inside of that person that I should listen to, they've been very clear. Don't get stuck on stupid. Stop asking so many questions without getting the answer to the first question. And if you don't have the answer to the question, then the problem has not been solved. I find that a lot of our problems are our fault because we're moving on to something else before the solution. Black America doesn't have reparations because during civil rights time, during Cali House time, niggas was divided because I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. I have people in my family right now who, if somebody died and left them some money and put it in a will, that person would not go claim the money because they don't fuck with this person anymore. So even in death, they won't collect because of how they feel about some shit that happened. And I get so confused how we can treat each other like this, but then these other people who are not us, we just give them all of the courtesies and stuff. But, when you listen to a man who can be live for 4, 5, 6, 8 hours one day, and then 2, 3, 4, 6 hours the next day, and then 3 hours the next day, it's like programming. That's why you can't call it a show. It's fucking program. No, over here, I'm not trying to program y'all as much as, I swear to God, I just want us to have these uncomfortable conversations because I swear you're not the only one who feels like things are not adding up because you're doing the things, right? Shit, you shot black. You are not voting for the black person because they're black. No, you're looking at what these people are saying. You're looking at the tangibles that are being offered. You're looking at the ops. And you're saying, no, I'm not going to participate in that. But then why aren't we where we're supposed to be? People will say, and I'm talking about the dissenters, people who aren't even doing anything yet. They'll say that we need everybody before we can do anything. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that is I think that's an argument that people use when they know the audience isn't going to do anything about things. From there, you can bitch about a problem until you're blue in the face, until the cows come home and the people will listen to you because they agree that there's a problem and we should be mad. Oh, we should be so mad, and you didn't put it in a way that I never thought that I could, and I learned a big word today. Let me buy your patron. Because, exposure to you means that I'm going to be able to, what? So I'm going to tell you that the only reason that I was around there is because exposure to Mr. Black first is supposed to mean that we will get to where we're supposed to get to faster. But no, exposure to just showed a lot of things that people don't want seen. Exposed some things that, oh shit, I definitely heard that lisp. And I just ignored it because shit, I personally don't care if someone has a lisp if they've done so much work to hide it. But like if Jose doesn't speak English good, y'all niggas would laugh. You laugh at him. Oh, you speak English, nigga. You in America. Ha ha ha. But that nigga speaks 2 languages and you speak 1. So, who should we really be laughing at? Like, I don't feel maybe like how y'all think I feel about some things, but I will tell you very plainly that the math ain't mathin' because y'all like to bitch and complain. And when Black America gets tired of bitching and complaining, then maybe we'll do something about the things that we say that bother us. But until then, it will be more bitching and complaining. I'd like to be an example of being outside because I'm not perfect, right? But I know that when we was at the rally in DC the first time, there was niggas on the damn roof. And I don't mean Black people on the roof. I mean people with guns. And y'all know I say niggas about pretty much everybody. They don't have to be Black. I try to tell you when I'm talking about a Black person, but no, there were people on roofs and on the rooftops, and some of them had weapons. And it was like, whoa, outside is like a life or death thing. Do y'all know that they assassinated our greats because they were having uncomfortable conversations? And the people who heard these conversations in real time were so polarized that they said, yeah, if that nigga said we going to DC, we're going to DC. And if that nigga said we're not going nowhere until they do what they need to do, then we're not going nowhere. And back then, those niggas at that time saw their great get murdered. And if you weren't there, you couldn't really tell the story. So technology being the way that it is right now, it's kind of bad and it's kind of good because we can find out about a lot of shit that happens to us in real time. But if you ain't gonna do nothing, then what's the point? No, because all y'all are gonna do is just get desensitized to it. I hate when y'all share some nigga who got murdered on my timeline. I fucking hate it. I will not participate in the trauma porn because the videos just play. Even if the app has it listed as extreme content or whatever. And I don't like seeing us get murdered. I don't like that shit. I mean, if it's in a movie and the people are not actually getting murdered, then, I guess I'm cool with that because those people are just actors. It's just for play. But y'all niggas have Miss Sonia on a loop getting murdered on my timeline 58 different times because y'all had to share it. Each person had to share. I don't like to see shit like that because it's trauma porn. Trauma porn for the people who don't want to see it and end up seeing it and then feeling, they're so emoted by it. They're so moved by it. They're in tears. They have to comment. They have to share it. Tell somebody else. I gotta tell somebody. I gotta run tell that. Did you see what happened? Okay. And then that happens and it happens and it happens and it happens. And I'm like, why does it keep getting shown? And really, we only 14% of the population. If white on white crime is real too, and I look at the data and the statistics and it is real, then why can't I see that too? Why am I not seeing that? Where is the balance? So either we are 14% of the population and dying in mass because we are killing our babies via abortion. We are drugging our youth via, like drugs and, bad environment, listening to bitches who don't wash their pussies and stuff, and just letting it be in the background for your little babies who listen to that music, start doing some little dances, and y'all think it's cute, and then the cycle is like a rinse and repeat. You be mad, then you be quiet, and then you be mad again, and then you be quiet, and then 2024, you got a nigga who won't go outside. Malcolm, wasn't he murdered in front of his family? I mean, I feel like that's what I remember about his story, and I'm not playing. My memory is shit. I try to prioritize the things that I want to talk about because I don't want to be all over the place, but I do want it all to relate to what we're talking about. And I think Malcolm, I think he was murdered in front of his family, and that's the nigga who was outside. But y'all will say that the broke authority is like Malcolm. How? Right. He told you that the government is going to get us if we identify ourselves, and the government knows who we are. If I could do anything on any of the times that I'm live, it would be to impress upon you niggas that since they already know who we are, it doesn't matter what you call yourself as much as it does matter that you say that your lineage that comes from here is paid the debt that's owed, period. And that just be the be all end all of it. Like, why else are they talking to us if they're not going to do the things that need to be done for our community to exist in their system? Because we could just exist outside of their system. Let them have their system. Fuck it. Why not? They're already acting like we don't exist when it's time to do the things. So since we don't exist, then we don't exist. You don't need us. Can I impress that on you niggas? Like, is there a way for that message to get out? Because I know I don't have a huge channel. I'm supposed to be monetized because I do have a little bit of people over here, but even that, YouTube doesn't want to do the things. So I'm not making any money off of this. This is just from me to you because I find that, on a Friday night, because I'm not no party goer, I would listen to Power Dynamics, and Power Dynamics has to be the Black family being fit, whole, where we need to be, having the right conversations, and comfortable doing it. Because if we're uncomfortable doing it, or if we're only comfortable around each other doing it, then that makes it an op. You can be an involuntary op. I don't want to do that. I want to be purposeful and meaningful. And I hope that y'all niggas do something with what I say. I can't make you do anything. And to the people who like when I'm talking about these things, y'all are encouraging, because at least to a few, it's more of a solidarity type of approach. Because I don't know if you're out here doing the things or not unless I know you. Like our sister Taisha. Shout out to you, Taisha. Again, thank you for joining me tonight, because the baby comes first. Really, the family comes first. And your husband is super supportive always. And I'm glad that he was able to help us out so we could have a conversation. But, it's not just that you're a supportive person as much as I've seen you do things. I've seen you do more things. And inside of those things, it's not a popularity contest. It's not a I like you. It's a, damn, this is a Black woman who is thriving in her Black family and wants us to protect ourselves, wants us to feed ourselves, wants us to be prepared wants us to be prepared against the enemy. And that's a person who needs to have a platform, and that's a person whose platform that I'll support. That's how the message and the messenger align. No, I don't think she's perfect, and I don't think she thinks she's perfect, but I don't give a damn about her being perfect as much as I like that the things that she says are the things that she does. From there, I mean, I don't know what I have an issue with. That's my biggest gripe with, a lot of the new Black media following. And shout out to the people who don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, because y'all came over to this side of the internet randomly. I've seen those comments too. The algorithm brought me here. Really? How? That's so cool. Welcome. I hope you come back. But it's like it's a separation for me. Gonna have to be. Because we can't allow people who would align themselves to us. Look, that's literally what I've been talking about all night with Kamala. She does not say that she's not Black at all, ever. She doesn't say it, you guys. People say you're the first Black woman, and she just smiles and laughs, and she's just so damn funny, and everything's so goddamn funny. And I don't think everything's as funny as much as I think she'd be sipping a little bit before she's live. And then, when you sip before you go live, you might be a little happier than you might be off the influence of alcohol. Y'all know the happy drunks, right? She presents to me as a happy drunk. It might be something else, and maybe it's not anything. It's just the stress of the job. But she was like that before she was the vice president, so I don't know. And if this is how she is off vice president, why would y'all give this woman the keys to the country? Like, do y'all know something that I don't know? Like, she's got a handler that's going to make sure that things happen the way that they need to happen. Because if her handler is her husband, Doug, have you seen that guy? That guy is Doug. And if you're Black and your name is Doug, I'm sorry. Start going by Douglas, because I can't not see Kamala's husband and hear the word Doug ever again after I heard her give Michelle and Barack appreciation for their support of her presidential campaign. She said, me and Doug, yikes. Ew, Kamala. But I digress on that and just get back to my whole tonight. I've been telling you that she's not like us, and they keep telling us that she's like us, and they tell her that she is us, and she doesn't say that she's not us. That's a problem. That is the message and the messenger not being aligned. That's what that is, you guys. So when I say something like the broke authority does not eat this, drink this, breathe this, live this, and y'all tell me that the message is more important than the messenger, the only argument I have is that the fucking message and the messenger have to align. It's not that the message is wrong, as much as if you're going to die on that hill, because remember, I'm telling you right now that there are some distinctions that will be made, because you cannot claim to be like Khalid Muhammad and then would violate women. I don't think he would do that. I also didn't know him, so maybe y'all know something I don't know. Was Khalid Muhammad out here violating women? Because, Mr. Penis Pants made penis pants, right? Mr. Cleaver, who is the fucking face. If we're gonna give it a face, that's the face he chose. This nigga literally chose a type Jason mask, and y'all said that's not a monster because the monster speaks English. What? How does a person who picks Eldridge Cleaver, who understands demon time, right? Like this man's supposed to understand demon time because he was raping black women to be able to rape white women or raping white. He was raping people, you know, and then he made penis pants and then kind of went on the run. And that's the self-identifier that we're going to use, because the programming, that's where that programming comes from. I mean, it's really the first time I had ever heard that the message and the messenger don't have to align. But I guess y'all have heard that in church, right? When your pastor is fucking the congregation and y'all are told to keep going to church because the message. But no, some of y'all actually heard about some shit, saw that the shit was not adding up, and said, I don't want to be here. Because y'all are like super judgmental and you're not even doing the things that you're talking about. If you say that a woman who is a single mom over the age of anything is a throwaway, and then you make it your duty to court them, then that I'd say that the message and the messenger don't align. If you are talking about our plight as Black America, but then only will talk about our plight if it can get you enough views, that's a problem. I mean, I don't have no big following, but Ozone, Othel Wallace, y'all need to hit his link up. It's othal.org, othal.org. He's not fighting for his life, quote, quote, anymore, because the death penalty was taken off the table, but he is in jail just for self-defense. Like, he shouldn't be in there. He needs an appeal, and he couldn't afford it. And that's our story. That's Black America's story. Black America's story is that shit happens to us and we can't afford to do anything about it. When that happens, it's like, oh, you can understand when someone says that they hate you because you're Black, but they victimize you because you're poor. And that's some shit that y'all should have asked some questions about, because they do hate us because they're Black, but do they hate us because we're Black? Because I see in the news, I see in my real life, I see white girls with extensions. I see white girls with cornrows and micro braids. I see white guys with shape ups and fades. I see all of them saying nigga. Y'all should look that shit up if you haven't seen it. It's all sorts of different fights that break out, and these white people, Asian, Spanish people, are calling themselves nigga, or they're calling that other person nigga. Nigga, I'll fuck you up, nigga, 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 nigga. And it's like, there's no niggas in the picture at all. But I'll take some blame. I will. Because I do that. I universally use the word nigga to mean person because, well, I guess that's just the people I grew up around. That's kind of how they was talking. And I guess I just really mean my family. So I'm gonna take some blame there and know that I could do better by using the vocabulary that makes the most sense. So I will try to do better. But if we're going to give me such responsibilities, God damn it, can we as Black America please take some responsibility for this bitch not unidentifying herself? Because I keep finding
Remember Venn diagrams, those three circles? Right. And then let's just see where they overlap.
Willie Brown, who once dated Harris, says,
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And because you are idiots. Yeah. Remember Venn diagrams, those three circles? Right. And then let's just see where they overlap.
Willie Brown, who once dated Harris, says,
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And because you are idiots. Yeah. Remember Venn diagrams, those three circles? Right. And then let's just see where they overlap.
Willie Brown, who once dated Harris, says,
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And Because you are idiots. Yeah.
So if you're Indian, yes, and every time people call her black, she's just laughing and smiling, then why aren't y'all asking questions about that? Like, hold up, wait a minute, are you black? How do you feel about this, Kamala? And maybe she would be honest. I don't know that she's been asked directly as much as people keep telling her that she's black and she's accepting the identification. And then the people who are angry about her accepting it aren't asking her how does she identify as much as they're just saying, hey, you're not saying anything. She threw him under the bus. That's crazy because he was very much throwing his support behind her ass the first time she was running for president. And do y'all not remember she's already run for president and nobody fucked with her the first time. And she's going for what is it called? She's going at it again. She's trying to get her repeat. Well, I guess it's not it'll be a repeat if she doesn't win, but I think this time around she's further along. Maybe that was the plan the whole time, y'all. Like the first time she didn't get out the gate because we were on their ass. And then now 4 years of being sleepy under Biden have niggas gone back to sleep and we're not on their ass anymore. So, they can kind of slip her in now. These systems have 50-year and 100-year plans, and they know you niggas is thinking paycheck to paycheck. Also, they know that you niggas who are not living paycheck to paycheck are not having these conversations. So, I understand I'm fighting the wind right now. I'm running uphill in a snowstorm, but I know that y'all know people who should be doing different and aren't because you just didn't want to make them uncomfortable. So opportunist. Yeah, she is an opportunist. I mean, if that's how you get down, the broke authority says be the best hoe you can be. And I don't know if I disagree with that either, right? But I know the context from whence the content comes. You niggas is out here listening to someone who has never actually done some things as much as they can just talk about some things. You can talk about, Kamala being an opportunist as much as you can talk about a doctor doing doctor things if you've studied what the doctor's supposed to do. Y'all really need to be out here being the best you can be. But when you find that you don't know who you are, I beg you to question your circle. Who are you around? And if you question your circle, everything is where it's supposed to be, then I don't think you've asked the right questions. Because that's what people will do. They will do, they'll make a to-do list. And on the to-do list, they will write some easy shit, right? Because it's very easy to cross off the things that are easy. They'll also write the really hard stuff down that they need to do, the things that are not their favorite thing, right? And now that they have their to-do list, they will probably start doing the very easy things. It's rewarding to be able to cross things off of the list. But if we are rewarding ourselves for some very basic behaviors, then you might not get to maturity. And maturity is knowing that real men don't spend hours online talking about other men, women, children, anything really, because these niggas is out here working. Real men work. And unless your job is to be on the internet, then you're not a real man. So that's the catch-22. And if you guys are comfortable listening to males who parade around as real men, then please unsubscribe. Remove yourself from a person who wants to get my notifications, because I'm not really getting a lot of trolling like I used to, because either y'all niggas don't give a shit about that nigga no more, or you get it. You understand why the spotlight needs to be on camp power dynamics, because really it's camp abuse. And, it's why the spotlight needs to be on Mr. Penis Pants. Because really, if you ask your AI who is Jeremy Lloyd Smith, Jason Black, it's gonna tell you. But then y'all are gonna say that I rigged it. How am I gonna rig your AI? Now, maybe our own personal computer systems can pick up patterns and behaviors and start to align the answers and responses with things that you like, right? Because technology is always learning. So that's a possibility, sure. But over the course of, I don't know, whenever I posted that post on my community tab, I've asked people all around the country if they would do that real quick. Just ask your chat GPT, ask your Copilot, ask Alexa or Siri, who is Jeremy Lloyd Smith, Jason Black? And it's very interesting that even AI gets it. And if the damn technology gets it, then are we really in the age of the machine? Like, it's like y'all niggas didn't read Scotty Vasquez. Y'all listened to Tariq, but you didn't read War Against the Machine. Some of y'all niggas listen to metal and rock and stuff, but you don't rage against the machine. Some of you guys don't even know how to drive a manual car, but you're all for electric cars. You saw, what is it? Not Will Smith. You saw the Obama movie on Netflix about the end of the world, or end of the world as we know it. I don't know what it's called, but it's the Obama movie that was on Netflix, and there was that one scene where all of the electric cars kept crashing in that one spot because, when the roads are shut down and you can't use the highway to get out, or when there's nowhere for you to fill up your electricity bank for your electric car, you have to leave it. And that so many people leaving their cars means that some roads are going to be unaccessible. But I was talking about that earlier. Y'all niggas would go apeshit if the grocery stores closed and you had to fend for yourself. And the ones of you who wouldn't go apeshit, some of y'all, but it's a very small few, some of y'all would go out and start taking things. And that's why you haven't gone apeshit, because you know that you are the strongest around you. You know that nobody's going to be able to fuck with you. Nope. Because you kind of been preparing for it. You didn't know it was going to happen, but if it does happen, it's okay, because I'm ready. I'm on demon time, right? And then some of y'all are going to be good because you're prepared. Like I said earlier, you know your environment. You know which berries to eat. You're not going to get sick and die because you had to live off the lamb. Our enslaved ancestors who rose up and decided enough was enough, the ones who were on the run, and the ones who had to live in weird ass conditions because they had to work in the area, but they didn't stay in the area. Oysters and some of these creatures that get eaten, some of the foods that we eat have been survival at best. And then now it is a multi-million-dollar industry. Oysters is a luxury. And it was all because some niggas had to live off the land because they would have died. Do we have oysters as a thing? And it's only a thing because they was able to get us off of it. I read a story a couple months ago about a Black family who finally got the rights back to their area of land that had a lake or a piece of the river on it, and inside of that, it's like the oyster farm, the oyster bed. It had not been maintained for years, and it was all because of some paperwork, white people just keeping them off their shit. And I'm like, damn, how many oyster farmers do you know that are Black? Because if you go on YouTube right now and you type in some oyster farming, oyster shucking, it's going to be them people who are prominent and doing the things. And that entire industry it exists because we were able to exist off the land. We knew how to find certain things, and we didn't kill ourselves doing it. These other people go and live off the land and kill themselves because they ate them little red strawberries that are in your grass that are not strawberries, because they kind of look like strawberries, but they're not strawberries. But if you've never been to a strawberry patch, strawberry fields are forever, except for niggas who ain't never been there. And then you think that the little red berries in your yard are little mini strawberries, and you eat it and you got extreme diarrhea and vomiting and stuff. It didn't kill you though. No, I watched this one episode of Naked and Afraid, or a show like that, and it's like extreme white people shit where they go exist in the woods for 21 days and they don't have no help except for maybe another person, and they get 2 tools. And I find that you can find the real men across different cultures. And I don't mean like real men participate on the show, but you can see the ones who are men and you can see the ones who are not men. Inside of that, man, I watched this one white dude. He drank some water that was not filtered properly because he was thirsty. And oh my God, the screams and moans that came from that man. I don't think it was scripted, y'all. I don't think that shit was scripted. That was an old episode that was before they were scripting that shit. Some of that shit was just like, it wasn't reality, because obviously there's a camera there and they can intervene for emergencies, but that shit was real. And he almost died because he drank some nasty ass water because he was thirsty. And the kicker, he knew better. He knew that the water did not have the signs of life that need to be shown to know that you can just drink the water that's sitting there. And do y'all niggas know that? You can't just drink water that you just see anywhere because things, right? I mean, outside of it just being nasty, and we don't have, as a whole, nasty hygiene and practices or whatever. No, if you were on the lam, remember, we're talking about if the shit hits the fan, there's no more grocery store, and y'all niggas is out here having to do the things. Red strawberries in your grass type things. Do you know how to fish or, find crabs or oysters, or where the deer's at? No, y'all niggas is not about to go out finding some bison, because I don't think it's out there like that. And I don't think that y'all niggas is, well, you can have chicken. A lot of states say that you can have chicken. Here in my state, you can have chicken, but y'all don't have chicken. Shit, I don't have chicken, but it's only because I haven't built the coop yet. As soon as I do, I will have chicken. But inside of our survival conversation, it will be your fault if you don't know some things. Knowing that water that looks so good because you're so thirsty could kill you is some things. Shit, some of y'all asses is here because you have an ancestor who had to exist in some really trying environments to get to freedom. And inside of these trying environments, your ass would not be here if they didn't know some things. You are the reason that you are in the shit that you're in, but it's going to have to be across the board if we're not going to do anything about some things. I try not to be judgmental without being a person who is going to participate in the solution. So, it becomes my fault if I don't go to meetings, if I don't speak up about some things, if I don't get uncomfortable when things are comfortable. You know, when you're around everybody that you like and everybody's having a good time, y'all don't want to fuck the mood up. I know you don't, because either you didn't go because you didn't want to fuck the mood up, or we're having such a good time. Why are we about to fuck the mood up? And then in real time, y'all are having a good time, and somebody brings up some black on black issue, and it's like, why'd you have to go there? Or in real time, someone will show a murder of a black person by a white person or a Spanish, Asian, just something bad. You know, we'll start to talk about life. And then everybody's all mad because there she go again talking about that black stuff. But I'm comfortable there because in real time, I've seen people who used to be so uncomfortable, so unwilling to participate, so not wanting to hear that shit, wanting to know more. Like that's the stage that I'm in with regards to my square or my circle, however you put it. And inside of that, that's where the action starts to show up or not. You know, a lot of you guys are there. You want to know more. You want more. How do we win? You see that in the chat all the time. Well, if you got so much shit to say about that, well, how do we win? Y'all niggas is not even comfortable staying home on election day. But you want to know how to win. How about we start there? And if you don't want to stay home and you have to go vote, then be prepared for me or anyone to ask you, what did you get for your vote? And when you say some dumbass shit like you got some black judges for your vote, and Ketanji Brown, I don't know what a woman is, Jackson is the first person on the list, you might not like me after that conversation. Because what the fuck are you talking about? How is that a win for black people? A woman who's had children who doesn't know what a woman is. Fuck her. Are the other judges like that too? Fuck them. But no, y'all don't want to get uncomfortable. But actually, some of y'all do want to get uncomfortable because, you know, as we've been on for a little while, more of you have joined the conversation, and I hope it's not just because you wanted to sip some tea. No, the tea tonight is accountability. And inside of accountability, we've got some responsibilities. We have to take off some of these labels. We have to put on some new labels, and then you have to do the things to make people respect the label. Being the Black authority and then having a whole 4-hour live about can thoughts win means that you think that Black is synonymous with thought. Fuck you. And anybody who supports that type of message, you know, because that's why we're losing. You got these bipolar ass people having these bipolar ass conversations. And I promise you, I've never, however you feel about me, I've never been on this app or any app or telling anybody who they should be fucking, as much as if you talk about Black people that should look similar, you know, and let me just be honest, right? I have said you can't fuck no children, and animals didn't do nothing to you, so you probably shouldn't be fucking them either. Outside of that, I personally would like the conversations about Black people to move away from sex because it keeps getting pushed in our faces, and it's our fault if we don't do something about it. Like, I promise y'all, if I saw Bob and Jane going at it at the grocery store, I would be as icked if I saw Bob and Bob or Jane and Jane, because why are you doing that at the grocery store? And they're going to say, well, I just want to show my partner affection in public. But why aren't we having a conversation about what's appropriate for public and what's not? Oh, I got it. It's because nobody wants to be accountable for anything. Because if I say something about your shit and you say something about my shit, well, now I got to do something about my shit. And you're supposed to do something about your shit. But if it's just a bunch of rocks being thrown and nothing's actually being built, then why are you throwing rocks? Why don't you just keep that shit? Keep your rock, and then you won't be damaging people, and you can just exist inside of your little cave. Because that's how, well, That's how they used to be until global warming. And now, well, I guess we're at the end of the ice age, and that's why things are warming up so fast. But is the authority talking about how climate change is literally just the earth existing, how the earth is supposed to exist? Or are the authorities on blackness talking about thoughts? The authority on blackness is talking about other people talking about black people because that makes him the authority on black. Look, there's this I just saw this post, right? And it's from yesterday, I guess. Rollo Tomasi uses racist account on Twitter calling black people monkeys, gorillas, and niggers all day. If this is true, then it only confirms what I've said about the racist red pill movement all the time. Folks making YouTube videos about it so you can look it up and see for yourself if it's valid. And the reason I'm even talking about this right here is because why? Who the fuck cares? Look, I swear to God, I said this 2 hours ago. You can pull it up on the playback. I don't give a shit what they call us. They need to cut the check. And if y'all are out here being polarized by white people who call us niggers, then you are the reason we have not gotten what's owed to us. Like, y'all are some emotional females out here. Like, really, it's some bitch behavior, but, you know, a bitch who would beat a bitch with a barbell might be a bitch, right? And then now it's like, oh, I see the program is verifiable because the evidence says, well, you can look it up yourself. I'm not here to tell y'all what to think. Sometimes I'll show you some things, you know, like Kamala saying that she's Indian, or at least agreeing that she's Indian. And then, you know, maybe white men dressed in drag. And actually, I think one of them actually had breasts. So white men who have mutilated their bodies try to pass themselves off as women because life was too hard as a man. You know, I might show you some of that stuff. And then some things I just think that it's time to do some homework, and not on some look it up type shit as much as it's just really, how can you be about these things if you don't want to learn about them yourself? From there, is it your fault that you have issues? Is it our fault that we have issues? Yeah, right now, a lot of things are Black America's fault because while we are not our gay cousin, uncle, brother, sister, friend, we are allowing some behaviors to exist around us the same way. I'm not a thief, so you can't call me a thief. I'm not that nigga over there because I have XYZ, even though you are that nigga over there if you come from here. You know, when I started listening to the new Black media, I was so moved by this call to action because them old niggas dropped the ball. Yes, they did. Yes, fucking they did. And look, you know, my man's over here telling me that it's not our fault, but it's our responsibility to fix it. And I feel him, but he's a little bit older than me. So I think sometimes he be feeling some kind of way when I say old niggas. Let me just be real with y'all. If them niggas had done the things, we would not be fighting for what's ours. We would be fighting to maintain what's ours. The power dynamics would be different. But if you think power dynamics is how you get to fuck bitches and get money and not have to actually do any work because you can read a book to people, and after you've read a book so many times, you can read it with your eyes closed, right? you know it better than the back of your hand because the book's information is not going to change. And, you know, if you use this information over and over and over again, you're going to sound like the authority on things. Never mind the fact that you have no real world experience with some of these things. That's okay. Because Black America is so friendly. We share our experience with others because we find that, you know, when someone else has been through the same thing, it's like, oh shit, yeah, like-minded. That's my folk. That's my tribe. We all have an issue with this. Yeah, we all feel like this. Yeah, that's them's my people. But are they? Or are they just you know, a wolf in sheep's clothes? Kamala's husband is a small hat. And in real time, Benjamin, Israel's leader, was over here telling Congress that he wanted more money for the war that he had not been killing a bunch of people in, civilians that is, and that it is our responsibility to give it to him. No, not our responsibility. Our fault for giving him any money, but not our fault, right? Black America had nothing to do with that shit. But when we say Black America and we're identifying as Americans, then now everybody's saying that it is our fault because we're not doing enough to fix it. This man, he talked about this Black soldier who was freeing people in the Holocaust and how he let me stop because I'm gonna start lying on things and I'm just mixing things up. And let me just say this, which is verifiable. He definitely said that Black America needs to be on the side of justice. And he referenced Kamala and her impending bid to presidency because it wasn't quite in stone yet. And even though she wasn't there, I find that her husband sharing the same lineage, quote unquote, with this man who's so entitled to come over here and tell us that we need to give him more money for this war that we have no parts in, but that we have been financial towards. And also we're also giving money to the people that they're fucking up too. So we're on both sides of the fence here, and he wants more money to fix things that he broke. And I find that it will become our fault if we just keep letting these people over here who don't have any ties to us over here make decisions. Do y'all know how many members of Congress wear small hats? Do you know how many members of Congress have dual citizenship with an area of the world that shouldn't even exist? You know, Israel's like DC. DC shouldn't exist either, but it does. I think Dubai also shouldn't exist, but it does. If you can just make a place on the map and then make everybody in the world align to this place that you've made on the map, that's powerful. And then you get friends in high places who make your definition the definition, and that's powerful. And I get why some of you niggas would say, well, that's why we need to have Blacks in high places and then we can move things, Eve. But that just means that, you know, during Black History Month, when y'all niggas is acting like you know the things, you should know that there are thousands of Black people in politics already. From the school board to local offices to federally, it's a gang of niggas in these positions of power. And not a one of them is doing anything to make things make sense. Not really. No, you have some one-offs. Like you have Miss was it Jasmine? What's the senator? What's the delegate's name who went off on bleached blonde, bad built? You know, you'll have little viral moments, right? Like that, or reclaiming my time. You know, you'll have that. And then everybody's favorite auntie is Maxine from California, who is older than Joe. But she viral because reclaiming my time. This woman did not have that fire a little while ago, 10 years ago. If she did, we would have known about it in a big way. You know, these blacks in high places, they don't give a damn about us. You know, right now, I think Marcel has been consistent about our reparative justice. Now, I don't know if I agree with how he wants to get there as much as I'm not going to stand in his way. And that's what y'all niggas do sometimes. You be like, I don't agree with that, even though I agree with that. And since I don't agree with it, I'm a get in the way and sabotage. But if they're trying to get the solution to the same problem that you have, and it's not an exclusive, you know what I mean? Like excluding you. Like if Marcel was out here like, reparations for the black gays only. I've never heard that nigga say anything like that. And since I haven't, and he's talking about reparations for our lineage specifically, who the fuck cares that he likes things that other men don't? And I get so uncomfortable having to have some of these conversations with you guys because it's like, y'all care about the wrong shit. But it's me being an example of being uncomfortable for the right reasons. You think he's running for re-election all the way free? That's interesting. And I can't say that dude's last name for the life of me. Netanyahu? I don't know. But it took me about all these years to say Kamala's name the right way, and I've been hearing them say it, and I still say Kamala. Oh, I did it. There you go. See, programming. If you do something a bunch of different times, the same something a bunch of different times, it should just click. It's like muscle memory. That's why y'all will applaud people getting kicked out of a chat when they don't follow the rules. Who has rules on a YouTube chat? Just don't troll, and don't post porn. That's weird. Because we're supposed to be protecting the minis from that type of shit, and then here you are doing that type of shit. If you want to join me in participating in these conversations, if you want to join me in protecting the minis from predators, then you can't just say that these things have issues with you. You can't just say that you don't like things. You have to be an agent of change. Be a change agent. Be a person who is comfortable showing an example of accountability, because that is very uncomfortable. Inside of that, you will find that your truth, the one that you're living, not that there are different truths, but just that your life is yours, and I'm not going to have the same lens that you do on your life. So your truth, know that shit is going to start multiplying in the way that you want it to, because things are existing the way they're supposed to. And when you have opposition, know that that's also the reason for the opposition. I'm not a big person who prays, but if you are a person who prays, then maybe you include that understanding that you don't have it all. You don't know it all. And they could be using the same playbook as you. So you understand that life's not fair. Inside of that, maybe you do some work to move the needle in your direction. Go plant a seed, pray for it to grow, but you don't water it, it's not going to grow. I mean, it might grow like just really randomly outside the bell curve. It might grow. But if you don't treat that seed right, it's not going to grow. It's not going to sprout. You can pray till the cows come home. That seed is not going to do anything. Ironically enough, you can toss out a plant that you thought was dead and leave it alone. And if you just leave it alone, it might have been going through a winter where it has to die. And after it dies and is exposed to different conditions, it starts to grow again. And it's like, oh shit, I thought it was dead. You know, you can use nature to give you the solution to the things that are complicated. But if you don't ever get off this app, you won't ever be able to use it as an example.